Well, CBS travel editor Peter Greenberg is back in Madison for a special event on campus this week.
Peter will be leading a panel of national journalists to discuss the art of the conversation. But
first, there's a lot of travel-related news we want to talk about. Peter joining us live now from the Dane County Regional Airport. And I guess, Peter, we should first talk about what's going on in Boston. A lot of us feel pretty helpless. Is there anything we can do?
Well, you know, when you're dealing with a major sporting event, it's one thing to secure a stadium. It's, in fact, a lot easier to secure a stadium than a 26-mile route, which is what a marathon is. And what's going to happen after this, you're going to have to deal with different levels of perimeter security. And it's not just the Boston police, it's the New York police, and any other security officers are going to be watching this to see the lessons they can learn from it. Because, after all, part of watching a marathon is getting out on the streets and watching it. How do you secure 26 miles? It's quite a challenge.
What about the situation in the air? You just arrived at the Dane County Airport. How does the FAA traditionally respond to a breaking, developing story like this? Could it affect air travelers?
Not directly, and it wouldn't be the FAA, probably more the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, and the TSA. Remember, the question is, do you secure an airport any differently in a situation like this? And the answer is no. You're still going to have the same kind of security protocols in place. But when you have a situation like this, like you have in Boston, the question is, where do you begin the security? It's not necessarily at the airport. It could be at the hotel. It could be a ring around the actual route that a marathon would be run. There are going to be different protocols in place from now on. Obviously, we're always fighting against the last war, and now we've got another one to fight.
You can hardly secure an entire city. You know, where do you stop? People have to carry on with their lives.
Right. I mean, it's a real challenge because you can't defeat the entire purpose of a marathon by making the security so tough that nobody can even get there. So this is probably going to be one of the bigger challenges that the Boston police are going to have, that the FBI is going to have, that security officials are going to have throughout the United States. And let's face it, look at the Olympics. When you have an Olympics and you're doing a marathon, that's another 26 miles. And how do you do it? And you know, it's a tough one. Same thing, look, the Tour de France. Who's going to secure that? All that route every day of the bicycles. Half of it, you're just hoping. It's a crapshoot. You're just hoping that no one's going to do what somebody obviously did earlier today.
Let's talk about why you're in Madison this week. The art of conversation. What's that all about?
Well, listen, what it's all about is exactly what I'm doing with you right now. We're talking to each other. We've lost the art of conversation in this country. People are texting, they're tweeting, they're not getting involved, they're going online. They're not actually having face-to-face conversations. And whether it's journalism or science, whether it's politics or religion, people need to get out there and talk to each other. And so what I've done is I brought in some very special guest stars. Maureen Maurer from CBS 48 Hours. She's going to talk about how she interviews murderers and criminals and how she then gets that information out to the public. I'm going to be talking about all of my history basically at Newsweek and, of course, NBC and now CBS. I've even brought in Dr. Jen Ashton. I'm just going to show her to you right now.
There she is.
She's the medical editor for another network. But she's going to talk about how she talks to patients and also then how she talks to the public about critical medical issues. And without that conversation, nothing gets done. Without common ground, nothing gets done. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's tomorrow night at the Wisconsin Institute for Discovery, the WID building, 7 o'clock, open to the public. And if I catch anybody tweeting, they'll be slapped.
Well, Dr. Ashton, welcome her to Madison for us.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Good to see you.
All right, well, tell her you said hi.
All right, well, thank you.
You got it.